Alrighty. So we'll be continuing with Michael Rood's series, and my mother will be back next week. I probably won't be here next week, so it'll just be her. But I'm sure you guys will have a great time. We've been talking about the Psalm 83 war that is in the future, and the verses that coincide with that. Come, they say, and let us wipe out Israel as a nation. We will destroy the very memory of her existence. This was their unanimous decision at their summit conference. They signed a treaty to ally themselves against Almighty God. Oh my God, blow them away like dust, like chaff before the wind, as a forest fire that roars across a mountain. And we've been talking the past several weeks about this coming Psalm 83 war and how the other countries in the Middle East surrounding Israel will want to come together and destroy her. And then God will miraculously save Israel, and Israel will turn back to God at that time. And I just wanted to pull up some articles to see what's going on over there now. And at first, this sounded like good news. This was the Jerusalem Post today. Rouhani takes office as Iran's president and promises constructive interaction with the world. So he wanted to present himself as a moderate, the guy that's taking Ahmadinejad's place. However, as the article goes on, well, this is the next article. Iranian President-elect Rouhani, Israel is a wound in the Muslim world. So masses demonstrate to mark Jerusalem Day, and Rouhani originally was misquoted as saying that Israel must be removed. 2 days before his inauguration as Iran's new president, Hassan Rouhani said on Friday that Israeli occupation of Palestinian land had inflicted a wound on the Muslim world, according to a segment of his remarks broadcast on Iran's state-run press TV. An earlier report by Iran's student news agency had quoted him as saying, "The Zionist regime is a wound that has sat on the body of the Muslim world for years and needs to be removed." However, they retracted that and said that they had presented his saying about the Zionist regime is a wound on the body that needs to be removed. They corrected that. The original version of the report had echoed the fiercely anti-Israeli language of outgoing President Ahmadinejad, but was swiftly repudiated. It goes on to say, so he didn't say that Israel needed to be removed. He just said that they were a wound. So scratch that remove part. It's still bad enough, isn't it? So, and then Netanyahu on Friday responded to the remarks, saying that his true face has been exposed earlier than expected. So Rouhani was trying to put himself out there as a moderate, but he slipped and said a little too much too soon, so Netanyahu's on to him. And Netanyahu warned that despite the election of the so-called moderate, the objective of the regime to acquire nuclear weapons to threaten Israel, the Middle East, and peace and security throughout the world has not changed. Outgoing Iranian President Ahmadinejad also addressed the crowds on Jerusalem Day yesterday, warning of an impending regional storm that would uproot Israel. So that's the scary part. Is there any storm? Is there any, Ahmadinejad's known for just throwing stuff around, right, and being very loudly anti-Israel. But there may be something to it because Interpol, the international police, issued a global security alert advising increased vigilance for terrorist activity. And their headquarters, or their person out of France, said, following a series of prison escapes across 9 Interpol member countries in the past month alone, including Iraq, Libya, and Pakistan, the Interpol General Secretariat headquarters has issued a global security alert advising increased vigilance. That is because they think Al-Qaeda had something to do with all of those prison breaks.
Well,
so
California just released, or has been told to release by the State Department,
10,000.
at least 10,000 prisoners. And
yeah,
so
that's
they're all
not even a
trained
prison
Muslims.
break.
They're trained Muslims.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? And see, isn't that suspicious? Because in all these other countries, there was a prison break. Somehow they escaped.
Oh, yeah.
And we think Al-Qaeda is behind it. And in California, we're just like, here's the keys, let them out. That's crazy.
Yeah, they're letting them out because they're overcrowded.
They can't afford it.
Can't keep them anymore.
It's just a weird coincidence.
And then they shut a lot
Yeah.
of embassies
It's,
down.
it's too much of a coincidence that all these. So anyhow, as Ahmadinejad's running at the mouth and saying, watch out, there's going to be this storm, then the international police are like, everybody be careful because, you know, we have all these criminals running around. And what else is happening? Well, this is more of Ahmadinejad. I will inform you with God as my witness, a devastating storm is on the way that will uproot the basis of Zionism. And he said Israel has no place in the region. He just said this. This is new. In Iran, millions marched in demonstrations Friday to show their solidarity in backing the Palestinian people. Millions of Muslims in 80 countries across the world were expected to participate in anti-Israel protests marking the annual event. This is Jerusalem Day. It was yesterday. Probably didn't hear this in our news, did we? That millions of Muslims. Okay, that's Psalm 83, isn't it? Millions of Muslims in 80 countries. If that's not getting together, and then we have our own State Department issues a worldwide travel alert. This is our own. This is NPR. The U.S. State Department has issued a worldwide travel alert because of an al-Qaeda threat that is particularly significant in the Middle East and North Africa. Current information suggests that al-Qaeda and affiliated organizations continue to plan terrorist attacks both in the region and beyond, and that they may focus efforts to conduct attacks in the period between now and the end of August. This travel alert expires on August 31st. So if we get the, isn't that funny? Isn't that funny? If we get to August 31st, September 1st, you're in the clear. I mean, that's
Well, they shut a lot of embassies down too.
Yes, they did. As a matter of fact, that's what it says. This follows the Department of State's decision to close all of its embassies and consulates across the Muslim world this Sunday, that's tomorrow. The closures were prompted by intelligence information that pointed to signs of an al-Qaeda plot against American diplomatic posts in the Middle East and other Muslim countries. So, the Department of State closes a bunch of embassies and consulates, and they're advising a travel alert. Tomorrow they'll be closed. And are they saying that there's any significance to that at all? Are they saying that there's any is there any significance to tomorrow? What's tomorrow? Oh, by the way, we're in the month of Ramadan. They didn't tell us that. Oh, and by the way, tonight, Saturday night, Sunday, that bleeds into with the whole global clock.
Wow.
Is the Muslim Ramadan night of power. But I'm sure this has nothing to do with why we're closing consulates tomorrow and why we got everybody out of there that need to get out of there tonight. I'm sure this has nothing to do with that at all, because they didn't tell us this. They didn't tell us this. I got on the internet myself and was digging up why it's significant. And it was like right there glaring in the face. We're in the month of Ramadan, and tonight is, the biggest day of it. So of course they're going to close the embassies and consulates.
So the month of Ramadan to the Muslim is what?
They fast all day during the month of Ramadan. They can eat at night. So they have a meal pre-dawn and when the sun sets. But it's their time when they are seeking God to defeat their enemies and bring about and bring in the last Imam, who is their Messiah figure. Mahdi, yeah. Yes.
They're praying for. See, he's supposed to crawl out of the well somewhere.
So yeah, this is it. This is tonight. So I mean, if
He's in a cave.
something may or may not happen tomorrow, our government is ready for it. Maybe something will happen, maybe it won't. I'm not saying anything will, but it's just that it's irritating that they don't tell us why. They don't bring that up. So there's Psalm 83. I mean, this is happening. This is happening. Their unanimous decision at their summit conference, yesterday was Jerusalem Day. They're all marching. They're all, in unity that they want to wipe out Israel. And even their new guy, who's supposed to be a moderate, isn't. So that's a little bit of that. Did you want to?